Welcome to Effective Techniques for Dealing with Difficult Customers. Hello, my name is Karen Sherwood, and I have over 25 years of management experience and have owned my own business. And in that time, I've dealt with many difficult customers. In today's program, I'll share some techniques and advice on dealing with difficult customers that you can use to help you deal with customers that you encounter in your workplace. Just as a reminder, nothing that is contained in today's program should be construed as legal advice. If you have legal questions, please consult an attorney. You know, no matter how good you are at your job, and no matter how much emphasis that you place on outstanding customer service, if you deal with customers, you will have to deal with difficult customer experiences. When customers are confrontational, over-demanding, or unreasonable, it becomes harder than ever to deliver helpful and courteous service. But when customers are met with a take-charge attitude and a positive outlook, they immediately feel good about doing business with your organization. In today's webinar, we will explore not only how to deal with difficult customers and their complaints, but how to learn from them so that we can prevent future problems while solving the current ones. We're going to start by taking a look in Module 1 with Understanding Customers. What do customers really want? When you can start to understand things from a customer's point of view, you can start to see how they might get difficult when they don't get what they want and expect. Then in Module 2, we'll go a little bit more in depth in understanding what makes a customer difficult. Different people are difficult for different reasons. We will explore the most common types of difficult people along with the techniques on how to handle each type. Then in Module 3, we'll take a look at the 7 steps to dealing with difficult customers. This proven step-by-step process will help you have the confidence in navigating the stressful process of handling difficult customers. You will learn what it takes to turn the customer around and provide the kind of superior and memorable service that results in a satisfied, loyal customer. In Module 4, we will explore some additional tips for handling difficult customers that will help you personally stay focused, stay positive, stay strong, and allow you to easily move through the steps when dealing with customer complaints and upsets. And we'll finish up in Module 5 by giving you ways to prevent difficult customer situations before they even happen. As you can see, we have a lot to cover today, so let's jump in and get started. Module number 1, Understanding Customers. Several years ago, a JetBlue flight attendant had had enough of being abused by difficult customers. He used the airplane's public address system to tell off a rude passenger and announce that this was it. He was done. Then he activated the plane's inflatable emergency chute. He grabbed 2 beers and slid down onto the runway, quitting his job in a blaze of glory. Now that flight attendant, Stephen Slater, has become somewhat of a hero to the everyday worker. Someone who had had enough of dealing with difficult customers, who finally got fed up enough to tell a customer what he really thought, then make his exit in the most traumatic way possible. Now, if you have ever dealt with a difficult customer, I'm sure there are times where you wish you could do the same thing. And while I certainly understand Mr. Slater's frustration, the fact is that dealing with customers, all kinds of customers, is a requirement of virtually any job in which an employee comes in contact directly with the public. Being able to deal effectively with customers and having employees who are able to effectively deal with customers, even those customers who might be difficult, is essential to a business's ability to operate. If you are a frontline employee, a supervisor, or a business owner, if you are the one who must deal with the members of the public, then you are the face of the organization, and you need to know how to and be able to act appropriately in challenging situations. Now, difficult customers come in all different shapes and sizes. They're difficult for a number of different reasons. All of you, in addition to dealing with your own customers, have been customers yourself. Can you think of a time when you yourself might have been looked at as a difficult customer? I certainly can. I can think of more than one time that I was looked upon as a difficult customer, even though I thought I was being perfectly reasonable. And I know the reason why. In the end, it always comes down to the same thing. I didn't get what I thought I should be getting. That is the one thing that all difficult customers have in common. They're not getting what they want, or they're not getting what they expect. You all know that when you have customers, no matter what you're selling, you're also selling customer satisfaction. A satisfied customer may tell a few people of their good experience, but a dissatisfied customer will tell many people about their experience. And with the number of ways that people have today of sharing their bad experience, through social media, for example, it's more important than ever that you find the best way to give your customers a positive experience. The way to give customers a positive customer experience is to give them what they want. So what do customers want? As we said, we have all been customers at one time or another. So put yourself in your customer's place and think, when I'm the customer, I want, and then fill in the blank. Whether you're running a small business or a large corporation, whether you're selling dollar store items or luxury products, every customer wants some of the same things. Let's look at a few of the top things that customers want and see if you don't agree that when you're the customer, you also want these same things. Respect. From the people who provide service, no matter what type of service, from the person who cuts their hair or their lawn, all customers want some degree of respect. My husband visited a restaurant recently in a high-rent district, so he expected a certain level of respect and service. He arrived early and was meeting a colleague for a business meeting in between lunch and dinner, so the restaurant was relatively empty, and the employees were all talking and laughing together at the back of the restaurant. He was not greeted when he entered the restaurant. In fact, he was completely ignored. After waiting several minutes, he shouted out, "Should I go ahead and seat myself?" One of the employees, visibly annoyed by the interruption, finally approached my husband and without an apology tried seating him near the restroom. Now, remember, the restaurant was nearly empty. My husband requested to be sat in another location, and the employee rolled their eyes and sat him where he requested. My husband was now beyond the point of losing his patience because he wasn't getting what he wanted or expected. After another 10 minutes of being ignored by the waitstaff without even water or a drink request, his business colleague finally arrived and they promptly left the restaurant and dined elsewhere. Now, my husband is a very patient and forgiving man, but he felt so disrespected by the way he was treated, he wrote a scathing review on the internet and now tells all of his business associates to stay clear of that restaurant and will never, ever return. Customers want and expect that the person who is assisting them should focus on them and helping them get what they want. The waitstaff was clearly not providing that. Customers want to feel that you care about their needs. The fact that there was no apology, the rolling of the eyes, and no service clearly made my husband feel like the waitstaff was clearly ignoring him and did not care about his needs. If a customer has a problem, they want to know that you care and are invested in helping them solve their problems. They want to feel that you are making an effort to solve their problems. Customers are not interested in excuses. How frustrating is it for you as a customer when you ask a question and you get told, I don't know, it's not my job. Your customers are not interested in excuses, even if they're valid. They don't want to be told that the computer is down or that the shipment has been delayed or that your technician is out sick. They just want to hear what you can do to get the job done. Customers want basic courtesies. They want a pleasant greeting and a good attitude. Would you return to a restaurant where they were annoyed to have to seat you? How much money would you spend if the salesperson was rude every time that you visited the store? In most cases, I'm guessing not much if you even returned to the store in the first place. Customers want fairness. How would it make you feel if you found out that another customer got a much better deal than you did for the same product or the same service? And customers want speed. They do not like to wait. To a lot of customers, the faster that you can deliver what they want, the better the customer experience will be. Have you ever gone through an automated voice system, answered half a dozen questions, only to be sent to the wrong person who puts you on hold for 5 minutes while transferring you to yet another wrong person? I personally have become a very difficult customer on very minor issues simply because I spent half my day trying to get to the right person who could finally answer my question. I didn't get what I wanted, a quick answer. And customers want honesty. If you fail to live up to your promises, not only will you have an unsatisfied customer on your hands, but they will spread the word about promises broken to anyone who will listen. Remember that most people aren't just shopping for a product or service. They're looking for a solution to their problem. If you can solve their issue and provide satisfaction, then you have a happy customer. Customers want you to be skilled at your job. They look at you to be the expert at your own job, and that's part of what they're paying you for. I hired a virtual assistant that claimed that she had a lot of website and technical skills. When I spent more time training her than what it would have taken me to do the job myself, I didn't get what I want, and I didn't get what I expected, and I never used her services again. And customers want appreciation. They want to have a sense that their business is important to you. Who wants to spend money with someone that doesn't appreciate their business? Customers want a product or service to be accessible. If you have advertised a product or service, the customer expects it to be available. I had a friend who had been searching high and low for a specific toy for her daughter's birthday. It was the only thing her daughter wanted, and she was determined to find it. She called store after store until finally she found exactly what she was looking for at a store 3 hours away. The sales associate on the phone assured her that they would have the toy available and would put it on hold for her to pick up the next day. Excited and relieved, my friend drove 3 hours to pick up the prize gift, only to find out when she arrived that they had just sold the last one, and that it was never placed on hold for her in the first place. Talk about an irate customer. The product or service that she was expecting was not accessible. Imagine how you would feel if you had just driven 3 hours only to find out that the product that you wanted had just been sold and was no longer available. She didn't get what she wanted or what she expected. Customers expect products that they purchase to be safe, and they expect them to do what they advertise. I'm going to have to admit, I recently purchased an As Seen on TV knife sharpener that was so poorly constructed that it didn't even work one time. Now, I'll write off the cost as a lesson that I should have known better, but I will never purchase another product that was endorsed by that particular celebrity chef, and I probably will not even watch that particular chef on TV ever again. So if you know what the customers want, all you have to do is give it to them, right? Knowing what the customer wants is only one part of the challenge in providing good customer service and dealing with difficult customers. Customers can be difficult for a lot of different reasons, and you need to be able to adapt your response accordingly. In module number 2, we'll take a closer look at what makes a customer difficult. Module number 2, what makes a customer difficult? Customers can be difficult for a lot of different reasons. Perhaps they're tired or stressed or frustrated. There may be things going on in their life that have nothing to do with the product or service you provide, but the added emotional stress may make them much more sensitive when things don't go their way or they're not getting what they want. They may feel that no one's listening to them, so they have to yell or make a scene just so they can be heard. It could be that you or someone else promised them something that wasn't delivered. Or maybe they're just confused and don't understand your policies and procedures. It might surprise you, but one of the best things that a difficult customer can do for you is to make a complaint. While there's a lot of reasons why customers complain, believe it or not, the main reason that they complain is to give you an opportunity to fix the problem, whatever the problem may be. Why else would a customer tell you about their negative experience? When people complain, it's because they feel that they have either been wronged or treated unfairly, and they want to continue to do business with that establishment. Otherwise, why wouldn't they just walk away and take their business elsewhere? If a customer gives you a chance to continue to do business together, you should make use of it. Odds are that if one customer had a problem, other customers may have experienced something similar. This allows you to fix any area where your business may not be meeting customer wants or expectations. Don't let your customer go running off to the competition. View all complaints as beneficial to you and your organization. So let's take a look at the few most common types of difficult customers and give you some tips on how you might be able to respond to them effectively. First, let's talk about angry customers. Dealing with angry people requires a certain amount of caution. If you are to be effective in serving an angry customer, you need to move beyond the emotions to find out the reason for the customer's anger. Here are some possible tactics. First, be positive and stay positive. Make sure that you tell the customer what you can do and not what you can't do. If you say, "Our policy doesn't allow us to issue a refund," then you can expect an angry response. But if, for example, you say, "What I can do is offer you a store credit that is valid at any of our stores," and that's a positive answer, and it's much more likely to be accepted. You should acknowledge the angry customer's feelings of anger. Don't deny the customer's anger by saying something like, "Oh, there's nothing to be mad about here," or "You really don't have to be upset." Doing that can lead to major confrontation. Instead, you should try to say something like, "I can see that you're upset, and I want to help solve the problem, so please let me understand exactly what's happened." By taking this approach, you have acknowledged the customer's feelings, you've demonstrated a willingness to help, and you've asked the customer to participate in the problem-solving process. Let's now talk about dissatisfied customers. Sometimes a customer is dissatisfied with your product or service when you meet them in the first place. They may have been improperly served by you or by one of your peers, or even by a competitor in the past. Even if you were not involved, or even if your company was not involved in the previous experience, you represent the organization, or you may be considered just like that other person. Even if the customer's suspicion or dissatisfaction has nothing to do with you, you still have to try to make these customers happy. So listen, and listen carefully. Take the time to listen carefully. Often when people are upset, all they want to know is that you're willing to attend to their concerns. Again, remain positive. Even though the difficult customer can drain your energy, don't get drawn into mirroring their anger or agreeing with their put-downs of your company or your competitors or your peers or your products or your services. If appropriate, you should smile and interject positive comments into the conversation as you listen, and try to determine an effective course of action. Always use positive wording when you're dealing with difficult customers. Instead of using the word problem, you should use the word situation or issue or concern or maybe challenge. These are more positive words. Instead of saying no or cannot, you can say, "Well, what we can do is." You want to correct the mistake. Instead of saying, "Well, it's not my job," or "It's not my fault," you can say, "Although I don't ordinarily handle that, I'd be glad to assist you." Instead of saying, "Well, you have to," or "You must," instead you can say, "Would you mind?" or can I ask you to? Those are more positive statements. Don't say our policy is. Say, while I'm unable to do plan A, what I can do is plan B. Make it positive. Don't make excuses. Typically, customers are not interested in why they did not get the product or service that they thought that they paid for. They want the problem solved in their favor. Again, always look for ways to correct the mistake, not cover it up. Remember, if you get defensive, you become a part of the problem and not a part of the solution. Let's now take a look at indecisive customers. You will encounter people who cannot or will not make a decision. I have a friend like this, incidentally. They sometimes spend hours vacillating back and forth. In some cases, indecisive customers truly don't know what they want or what they need, as when, for example, they're looking for a gift for a special occasion. Sometimes these customers are afraid that they're going to choose incorrectly, so they get petrified by the indecision. In these situations, you need to use all of your communication skills. With the indecisive customer, it's important to be patient. Keep in mind that although indecisive customers can be frustrating, they are still customers. You should ask open-ended questions just as you would do with a dissatisfied customer. Try to get them to share with you as much background information as possible to help you evaluate the situation and help the customer come to a decision. Then you can suggest options. Offer alternatives that will help in the decision-making process and reduce the customer's anxiety. Note that you are helping them. You are not making the decision for them. If you push your preferences off on them, they can then blame you, and they will very likely turn into a dissatisfied customer, and then you or someone else will have to deal with another difficult customer situation. Next is the demanding or domineering customers. Customers can be demanding or domineering for a number of reasons. Many times, domineering behavior is a part of a personality style. In other instances, it could be a reaction to a past customer experience or service encounter. A demanding customer may feel a need to be in or stay in control, especially if they felt out of control in a past situation. With demanding customers, you should always be professional. Don't raise your voice or retaliate verbally. Don't let your behavior regress to childish name-calling, even if your customer is showing that behavior. And show respect for your customer. Showing respect doesn't mean that you must accommodate the customer's every wish. It means that you should maintain positive eye contact, remain calm, use the customer's name, apologize if it's appropriate, and let the customer know that he or she is important to you and your company. Next, we'll talk about rude or inconsiderate customers. Some people just seem to go out of their way to be offensive or to get attention. Although they seem to be confident and self-assured outwardly, often they're insecure and defensive. Some behavior that they exhibit might be raising their voices, demanding to speak to the supervisor, being verbally abrupt, using profanity, ignoring what you say, or otherwise going out of their way to be offensive or to stay in control. With rude or inconsiderate customers, you should again remain professional. Just because the customer is exhibiting bad behavior doesn't justify you reacting in the same way. Remain calm, assertive, and in control of the situation. Don't resort to retaliation. Continue to show respect. Retaliation will only infuriate this type of customer, especially if they feel like they've embarrassed themselves in the presence of others. The last type of customer we'll talk about is the talkative customer. Some customers spend an excessive amount of time discussing all types of things, such as personal experiences, family, friends, school, accomplishments, other customer service situations, the weather, anything. You should remain warm and cordial, but try to stay focused. Recognize that this person's personality style is probably just naturally talkative. You can smile and acknowledge their comments and carry on brief conversations when you're helping this customer, but try to keep returning to the point. Respond to their questions politely so that you don't seem rude or abrupt, but then keep coming back with a business-related question, such as, "Is there anything else that I can help you with today?" It's up to you to manage the conversation. Keep in mind that you may be neglecting other customers by having to spend too much time with this one talkative customer. You might say something like, "I know you said you had a lot of shopping to do, so I won't keep you any longer. Thanks for coming in, and I look forward to seeing you next time." Imply that you're ending this interaction to the benefit of the customer. So these are 6 of the most common types of difficult customers: angry, dissatisfied, indecisive, demanding, rude, and talkative. As we explored, each type of difficult customer requires a slightly different type of strategy. Learning to identify these key types of difficult customers will immediately help you respond to them in the most effective manner. Now that we have a better understanding of what customers want and what makes them difficult, in our next module we'll take a look at the 7 steps that you can take to successfully resolve customer complaints and conflicts. Module number 3, 7 steps to dealing with difficult customers. Now that we have a better understanding of what makes a customer difficult, let's explore 7 steps for resolving customer complaints and conflicts that have been proven time and time again. The key is taking these steps immediately, the moment that you learn that your customer is unhappy. Don't let time lapse. You want to address the problem or issue directly. Avoidance will only make things worse. So, let's get started with step number 1. Step number 1 is to listen intently and pay attention. Stop doing what you're doing and pay careful attention to what the customer has to say. Don't interrupt, as this will only make the situation worse. Think about how you feel when someone interrupts you in the middle of a sentence. By talking about complaints, customers relieve some of the distress and ill feelings that they may have towards your establishment. The more the customer talks, the more you will learn about the customer's concerns and issues. But be careful, because often we don't listen, because as soon as a customer starts to complain, we have a tendency to start to think about how we're going to respond to the situation or to the accusations before we're done listening. And too often, we already have a response ready to fight back. Don't do that. Take a second and listen and relax. Listen to everything they have to say before you come up with your answer. On occasion, complaining customers will be rude. They'll be angry, they'll use vulgar language, but stay the course and remain calm and level-headed. You might want to show that you're empathetic and understanding by saying things like, "I see, and I can appreciate that," and, "Well, that must be upsetting." However, don't say these things unless you really mean them. When the customer is done venting, then in a calm, non-judgmental tone, repeat their problem. By repeating the problem at hand, you've demonstrated your ability to the customer that you've heard and understood their problem. Basically, your customer wants to know that their concerns are being heard and that you are going to try to fix the problem. If customers are ranting and not giving you a chance to explain or ask questions, use their names at the beginning or ends of a sentence. People are more likely to listen when they hear their names. Ask open-ended questions to get to the root of the problem. Try to ask ones that prompt the customer to think about the outcomes. For example, you might ask, "Well, what could I do to try and make this situation better for you?" If the complaint is valid and the fault is yours, admit it. There's no weakness in admitting that something went wrong. The weakness is when something goes wrong and it's not addressed. And don't be defensive. You'll get your chance to explain later. By the way, no matter how great the temptation, do not take complaints personally. While you may feel that the complaint is groundless, don't make an issue of it because the customer feels this situation is important. And we all know that perception is reality. Make it clear that you want to help. Repeat the customer's concerns or major points to make sure that you've understood the situation. Be genuine and sincere in your response and use a pleasant, concerned tone of voice, not a condescending or impatient tone. If there's been a mistake, apologize, even if you personally are not to blame. Stay focused on your goal. The goal is achieving a mutually satisfactory resolution to the problem, one that is a long-term, permanent fix. Concentrate your energy on coming up with an appropriate solution to the problem and use your best efforts in making the situation right. Listen and clarify. Never defend or justify. A customer doesn't care if you were short-handed or if you were having a bad day. They only care that they get taken care of. No excuses, just solutions. You should make sure that your customers believe that you believe them. This is the cornerstone of handling a customer complaint. Yes, the customer may be lying or incorrect about the situation, but it's important to understand that your customer believes that they have been wronged. The second step is to thank them. Thank the customer for bringing the problem to your attention. You can't resolve something that you're completely unaware of, and you may be making faulty assumptions about. At the beginning, at the end, and in the middle, it doesn't matter when, just thank the customer for making a complaint and making you aware of the situation. Why would you do that? Well, with the simple act of complaining, your customer is telling you, I care about your business and your success. They're giving you the opportunity to fix the problem and invite them back so that they can give you more money for your product or your service. It puts a different spin on it, doesn't it? Thank them for giving you that second chance, for letting you know that something in your establishment didn't work like it normally does, and for giving you a chance to make it right, and for the opportunity to not damage your reputation. The third step is apologize. Sincerely convey to the customer your apology for the way the situation has made them feel. This is not a time for preachy reasons, justifications, or excuses. Just apologize. Always apologize, even if you didn't do anything wrong. From your customer's perspective, they have a legitimate complaint and they expect an apology. It could be as simple as, I'm sorry we've inconvenienced you, or I'm sorry, I know how frustrating it is to buy dinner and then not have everything when you get it home. A sincere apology will usually diffuse a lot of frustration that the customer has. There is an exception to this rule, though. If a customer calls with a critical complaint, such as, for example, food poisoning, don't apologize because it may be construed as an acceptance of guilt. Instead, refer to your company's policies on how to deal with any of those critical situations. Step number 4, you need to seek the best solution. Determine what the customer wants as a solution. Ask them. They'll often surprise you by asking for less than you initially thought you would have to give, especially when they perceive your apology and its intention as genuinely sincere. Then make it right. Ask the customer, what can I do to make this right for you? Be the judge of what is fair, of course, but allow them the opportunity to feel empowered over the situation. Many times they may ask for the problem to be taken care of on their next visit. Or maybe that you've talked to the person who made the mistake and you correct them. It's good to give them the unexpected as well. Maybe a little freebie or an extra side or a gift to show them that you care about them. Step number 5 is reach an agreement. Seek to agree on a solution that will resolve the situation to the customer's satisfaction. Your best intentions can miss the mark completely if you still fail to deliver what the customer wants. A particular four-letter word usually does the trick when seeking a solution to the customer's complaint, and that word is fair. What do you think would be fair? That word fair seems to bring out in people a sense of, okay, all right, this is reasonable. Otherwise, customers may jump at the opportunity to demand inappropriate compensation for their trouble. Besides, the customer's main priority is resolving the issue. Once that's done, extra benefits or compensation are just that, extra, although they can be important measures to take if you want customers to come back. If you ask the customer to propose a fair and reasonable solution, acting in partnership with you to find a resolution, chances are it will consist of less than what you would have thought to have offered in the first place. Step number 6 is take action. Act on the solution with a sense of urgency. Customers will often respond more positively to your focus on helping them immediately versus than on the solution itself. Remember, one of the things that the customer wants is speed. Don't wait. Take action immediately. And last but not least, follow up. Follow up to ensure that the customer is completely satisfied, especially when you've had to enlist the help of others for the solution delivery. Everything up to this point will be for nothing if the customer feels out of sight, out of mind. We all know that problems happen. It's how you honestly acknowledge and handle them that counts with people. Customers will remember you and happily give you another chance to delight them when you choose to correct the problem with the very best that you can offer, proving that you value them and their business. Let's wrap up by reviewing the 7 steps to dealing with difficult customers. First, listen intently and pay attention. Number 2, thank the customer for the complaint. 3, apologize. 4, seek the best solution. 5, reach an agreement. 6, take action with urgency. And 7, follow up. Module number 4, tips for handling difficult customers. Now that we have walked through the 7 steps in dealing with difficult customers, let's take a look at some additional tips that will help you personally stay focused, stay strong, and allow you to easily move through the 7 steps. First and foremost, remember, do not take it personally. Remember, when a customer is difficult, they're unhappy with the product or the company. They are usually not unhappy with you. And even if they are unhappy with you, don't take it personally. It's about their needs not being met. It's not about you personally. Remember that you're good at what you do. Remind yourself of the skills that you have and why you're working there. Do not allow a customer to make you feel inadequate. Be sure to write down the complaints or the customer's concerns to show the customer that you're listening by recording the problem. Even if you're on the phone, tell the customer that you're writing down the details. This will also give you a written record of the issues for future reference. When the issue is documented, you now have a record of past complaints and concerns and can start to see patterns or trends that may need to be addressed. Ask a supervisor to join you and be a part of the transaction. If a customer is becoming more difficult, invite a supervisor to join you and the customer. The customer will notice that you're treating them as important by seeking additional help. This also is a great way to get more support for yourself personally and to learn from your supervisor additional ways that they deal with dissatisfied customers. And then debrief the situation with someone else when the customer leaves. Sometimes you may need to talk to someone about your difficult customer to debrief and get rid of any negative thoughts or emotions that you might have. This is a really important step. You need to allow yourself to let go of any of the leftover negativity from the experience so that it does not affect you personally or professionally or ongoingly. There's nothing worse than taking a bad experience home with you. Let go of all the negativity of the day before you leave work. And again, you can do this by debriefing the experience. It is also good to learn some stress management techniques. Stress management techniques can help you stay calm if a customer raises their voice, becomes angry, or becomes emotional. By learning to breathe deeply and focus on the positives, you can also ensure that your body doesn't carry around excess stress that can be detrimental to your health. Learning these techniques can help you handle difficult customers with ease without getting upset yourself. Recognize and accept the unavoidable fact that you will work with customers who are having a bad day. When people are having a bad day, anything and everything can upset them, even the smallest of glitches. Understand when you're working with the public, some people will take their bad day out on you. Remember, it's not personal, so don't take it personally. Once the experience is over, consider what you could do differently next time. If the customer is complaining about the company or a system or a process, take some time to review it and determine if something needs to be changed. Think about the way that you handled the customer and note anything that you would do differently next time. Learn from each experience and hone your skills in working with people. It is invaluable and will help you in future situations and in any type of job that interacts directly with customers. And finally, ongoing learning. Invest in yourself and in your ongoing personal development. The stronger and more confident you are as a person, the easier and easier it will be to handle stressful situations. You can attend local workshops and seminars, read books, or watch classes online. Practice with role plays and prepare yourself with common customer service scenarios. These skills can help you in all aspects of life, personally and professionally. Most of us deal with many people on a day-to-day basis, whether it is our customers, our coworkers, our friends, our families, even strangers. When you feel good about yourself and you know how to work with people, you can easily handle any type of upset and bring more happiness and peace into your life as well as the lives of others. We've all heard the saying, the customer is always right. Well, what do you do if the customer is not right? And we already know that the customer is not always right. Well, does it really matter if you're the one that's right? You can win the fight, but you may lose a customer. Given a choice between acknowledging that a customer is upset or proving that he or she is wrong, which would you choose? You can be right or you can have empathy. You can't have both. Smart service providers understand that the word right in the customer's always right doesn't mean that they'd win in court or win a debate. It means if you want the customer to remain a customer, you need to permit them to believe that they're right. If someone thinks they're unhappy, then you know what? They're unhappy. When you're in the customer service business, you will inevitably come across people who just seem to simply be a jerk. For some reason, they may even be relishing in being a jerk at some point in time, and there's no satisfying them. The customer is not always right. However, the customer may be feeling right. That is their reality. And we, as customer service providers, have to take the high road and figure out what in the world is happening to cause them to feel the way that they do. We have to focus and recognize that they feel right, and we have to respect their feelings. If we had any part in their cause and effect sequence whatsoever, we're the ones that need to make it right. In fact, even if we didn't have a part in the cause and effect sequence, we still have to make it right because that's good customer service. Great customer service can go a long way in reducing the number of difficult customer experiences that you will encounter and will need to deal with. Remember that great customer service goes beyond a smile and helpful information. It's an attitude about work and about people. Good customer service is a philosophy. It is also techniques and strategies that can be learned through education, training, and patience. Module number 5, preventing difficult customer situations before they happen. Although there will always be difficult customers and difficult customer situations, there are some ways that you can be proactive and prevent some difficult customer situations before they happen. You can utilize a lot of the information that we've already covered in the previous modules to help you deal with situations when they arise. But don't wait for a difficult situation to happen. Prevent them from happening in the first place. We are now going to take a look at some pitfalls to avoid to help you prevent difficult customer situations before they happen. The first thing to keep in mind is to always use positive language. This also holds true for nonverbal language. In addition to using positive language, make sure that the signals that you're giving out also give your customers a positive impression. Here are 9 negative signals to avoid when dealing with customers. Number 1, avoid giving wrong facial expressions. Always be aware of your facial expressions when you're communicating with a customer, especially if they're upset about something. Check with your coworkers, your supervisors, or your friends and ask them whether you're displaying any annoying facial expressions like rolling your eyes or scowling or an inappropriate smile when you're experiencing a tense or unhappy situation. It is best to provide a calm, sincere, concerned, and interested facial expression to show the customer that you care, appreciate, and acknowledge his or her feedback, and the complaint or unpleasant experience if that's the case. Avoid smiling when a customer is expressing anger. If you do, you may upset the customer even more by making the customer feel that you're not taking his or her issue seriously. Number 2, avoid using an annoying voice tone. Did you know that people actually respond more to how you say something than what you say? When you sound annoyed, impatient, or condescending, you're going to make an already upset customer become even angrier. But on the contrary, when you sound confident, the customer will believe that you know what you're talking about, and eventually it will be much easier for you to calm them down. You will sound annoyed when your tone goes up at the end of a sentence. It will make you sound like you're asking a question. Record and listen to yourself talking, and if you hear your tone goes up at the end of the sentence, start practicing ending your sentences on a lower note. It will help you sound confident and competent when you're talking to upset customers and will eventually calm them down much easier and faster as they find it soothing and comforting when you respond to them by talking in a calm, firm, caring, and soothing tone. Number 3, avoid closed, defensive, crossed-armed gestures. Defensive, unwillingness to listen, and a resolutely closed mind are the messages of crossed arm gestures. When you're attending to an upset or angry customer, uncross your arms to display your openness and to show that you're listening attentively. Number 4, avoid negative body postures. Always maintain an open, non-threatening body posture to avoid further increasing an irritation of a difficult customer. Don't crowd him or her, and provide enough personal space by standing far enough away. Stand or sit up straight to show that you're being attentive and listening to your customer. Avoid slumping or slouching, as you will be seen as inattentive or uninterested. Number 5, avoid touching and physical contact. Avoid touching a difficult or upset person at all times, as it may provoke him or her further and may lead towards violence. Number 6, avoid cursing and swearing. Remain calm and respond with patience when someone is cursing and swearing at you. This is a sign of strength, not of weakness. Always compose yourself in a calm and steady manner when responding to an angry or difficult customer. Remember that you're a professional representing your company, and there's never an excuse for you to curse or swear, even if the customer does so. Number 7, avoid eating, chewing, and nibbling. When you're communicating with a customer through the phone or face-to-face, don't chew gum, eat, or nibble on any food. These are considered very annoying acts in the eyes of the customer, and it will further upset an already irate customer. Number 8, avoid sighing. Don't sigh in front of an angry customer or an upset customer, as it only suggests annoyance, impatience, and dissatisfaction, and it will further worsen an already tense situation. And number 9, avoid slow movement. Angry and upset customers are already in an impatient mood, and they expect you to respond to their needs and requests with speed. Move swiftly and don't dawdle when you're assisting a difficult customer. Now I'll give you 5 tips to prevent some complaints before they happen. First, follow the standards of your organization. Review your employee handbook or some other relevant material for advice on how your company handles customer service situations. You need to be in line with your company's position on customer service, and you'll have trouble doing that if you're not familiar with your own policies. Number 2, work on controlling your inflection and your tone of voice. You can practice calmly giving responses when you're alone, or you can have role-play sessions with your coworkers. Maintaining a polite, positive tone of voice is one of the keys to good customer service. Tip number 3 is to listen to your customer. Try to understand what they're requesting and attempt to understand any underlying concerns that are not being expressed. If you can understand your customer's needs, you can better help meet those needs. Next, always be positive, friendly, and helpful, and have a good attitude. If a customer is having a difficult experience or being difficult, try to control the situation by remaining calm and in control. Engage with the difficult customer as a human being and be sure to thank them for their business. And the last tip is to be receptive to feedback. If you receive praise or receive a complaint, give it consideration and use it to work towards your future customer service goals. Now let's talk about using body language to improve your customer service. The way that you stand and look at a customer can speak more than your words. You should maintain eye contact and don't cross your arms over your chest like we said before. No closed, unapproachable gestures. If you're feeling defensive, avoid the urge to roll your eyes. If you're feeling exasperated, instead nod and smile, no matter how irritated you may feel. This shows that you value your customer's opinion and that you value your customer's business. You can also use body language to quickly improve your customer service skills. People use a lot of different methods for getting an idea across. It's not just the words that you say that people hear. There are other factors to take into account. Your body language is at the foundation of all communication. It's through body language that the majority of what we say is translated, and you should take extra care to deliver proper body language to customers if you want them to feel satisfied with your service. Here are 5 simple things that you can do to improve your body language and therefore improve your customer service skills as a whole. Number 1, keep eye contact. The easiest way to ensure the customer knows that you're paying attention to them and care about what they have to say is to keep eye contact with them as much as possible. Eye contact says that you're the only person that I'm listening to right now. It's the most overlooked aspect of body language, and it's easy to forget when you're trying to handle multiple things at once when you're dealing with a difficult customer. You want to try to make eye contact with them as you're speaking and while they are speaking. Don't stare at them or they might feel awkward, but just try to keep a delicate balance between eye contact and no eye contact. Be friendly, but don't be strange. Number 2, you should face towards your customer. Theater and film actors have an important body language tool that the service industry could really benefit from. Actors know that they should face the front of their body to the camera or to the audience as much as possible without looking unnatural. You can use this tool when you're speaking to your customers, especially your difficult customers. Try to make sure that you face them with the front of your body as much as you can. You don't want to turn your back on them. And you don't want to stay turned in profile because that will tell them that you're not interested in what they have to say. We're always interested in what they have to say. So make sure that your customer knows that. Number 3, you should always direct with an open hand. Now this is one of those more subtle techniques that you use. Whenever you're giving directions to someone, use an open hand gesture. If you point with your index finger or your thumb as we do in everyday life, it can come across as rude. So open hands are inviting and pointed fingers are dismissive. Your body language will be saying, "Allow me to show you the right way," or "Allow me to show you this way," with an open hand. Number 4 is maintain good posture. Posture is one of the most important aspects of body language. As far as communication goes, posture is like a shortcut to knowing a person's mood. The best posture is simply a military at-ease position. Keep your spine straight and your legs a bit apart, and your hands behind your back. This will push your chest out and hopefully it'll keep your chin raised. You never want to slouch or lower your chin, as this gives off an impression that you're in a bad mood or that you're lazy and you don't feel like helping anyone. And number 5 is make sure that you smile. I know what you're saying. Of course we smile. That's the first thing that we do. Smiling lets customers know that you're paying attention to them. It gives them the impression that you truly care and enjoy what you're doing. Be careful to smile properly as well, because some smiles, when done improperly, will look forced and disingenuous, and that's the opposite of what you want. Smile with your eyes as much as your mouth. A good smile goes a long way in ensuring a guest's satisfaction. Your body language signals and gesture will constantly project your attitude in the public eye. And you should always make sure that your attitude is, "I'll go the extra mile to help you, and I'll assist you the best I can." Keep in mind that the same quality of service will be expected from you when you're the customer. Wow, we have covered a lot of information today. In Module 1, we took a look at understanding customers and what customers want and expect. In Module 2, we took a look at what makes a customer difficult, and we looked at 6 different types of difficult customers and techniques for dealing with each one. In Module 3, we took a look at the 7 steps to dealing with difficult customers. In Module 4, we took a look at some additional tips for handling difficult customers to keep us strong and confident. And we just finished up with Module 5, preventing difficult customer situations before they happen.